It's time to dad.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Time to Dad. I'm joined here tonight with JT and James. Welcome back. It's been a hot minute, dude. Let's do a quick check-in. What's going? I know you're always busy, man. What's going on in the life of James?
Yeah, I think it's been well over 6 months since I've been on here. Life has definitely been crazy. I don't know if my wife was pregnant the last time that I was on here or not, but she is pregnant.
I don't think so.
And she's like 8-9 months right now. 8 months,
Nice,
9
man.
months.
Oh, awesome.
So she's due April 11th.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. So between that and then my last day in the military or my last day wearing the uniform will be the day my daughter is born. Oh, it's a girl, another girl.
What?
So yeah, so yeah, a lot of changes between having a pregnant wife over the last 8-9 months, 7-8 months, however long it's been, to deciding to go ahead and file for my retirement and submit my retirement packet, to the real estate stuff as being crazy. Like I'm averaging 2 to 4 transactions a month, and I never expected to be a permanent full-time real estate agent. I thought I was just going to do this for some side hustle money, but it is blown up. The investor side of things is same thing, just busy. So we've closed on I don't even know how many properties in the last year. Yeah, it's busy. The newest addition to the list of things that I have going on in my life is I'm starting an all natural soap and candle company and I'll add in probably.
I'm sorry,
I'll
that's funny as shit. How the hell did you stumble into that world?
I think you guys know from the last episode when we were talking about chemicals in the food and etc. Like when you start going on that rabbit hole, it's hard to put the cat back on, right? So I have skin problems and I use a lot of moisturizers and things, and come to find out these like good for you moisturizers are like packed full of crap that's actually giving you cancer and stuff. So I started trying to make my own, and I was like,
microplastics.
Exactly. Yeah. So and I was on this kick before the election, right? So the election just funneled it, or made it put more fuel on the fire. But yeah, so my wife and I have probably been eating all organic and chemical free for over 4 years now, but we never went into and when we washed our clothes with like a chemical free laundry soap, but we didn't dig into like lotions and freaking soaps and shampoos and all of that. So we've started, like, I haven't worn deodorant in like 9 months. Like, don't even need it. My armpits don't smell.
JT's smelling you through the microphone right
like
now.
It's crazy. Like it's literally crazy once you start cutting like these chemicals out and like using the like a good proper soap. Like I switched from using body wash.
I'm gonna have to order some soap.
Back to using soap,
because I was using the natural shit from Target, and all that does is dry the shit out of my skin.
Nah. If you're using good quality soap, it's really just made out of cocoa butter and lime, right? Or lye. So you don't have to add a bunch of stuff unless you want to. You can add different.
Nah, I don't need to smell like a pine tree walking around.
Yeah. But all you need is a type of fat, like cocoa butter, or you can use lard, or like there's all kinds of stuff you can make it out of, and then lye, right? And then that soapification process
You've been watching
starts.
Too much Fight Club. That's what the problem is.
Yeah. But nah, man. And I haven't started it yet. Right now it's just conceptual, and I've been playing with there's a couple of things that we've started making ourselves around the house versus buying it. The whole sourdough bread movement that everybody is on, right? So
that's a process right there.
So once you start that, making things yourself, like sourdough bread as an example, then you're like, well, I wonder if I can make this myself. Like I bought a little thing that mills my own like flour. So I put the grains in there, and it turns it into flour, man. So I know exactly what I'm putting into my body, right?
You know what blows my mind? I'm gonna cut you off because that's funny that you say that. But there was a post, and not to get political, but it was a picture of like a dad playing football with his kid in the front yard. There was a pregnant wife kind of standing off to the side. There were some chickens running in the yard. What the fuck else was there that's like stereotypical of people just trying to like be natural? There was something else, but anyway, the title of the meme was like the right wing starter pack. And so for shits and giggles, I like started reading through the comments, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fucking hilarious. And people were like, it's not right wing. It's like that's what America was founded on, is like doing shit yourself and taking care of your own and you know, farm to table type shit. So that's funny when you said that. That kind of made me think of that. Is that it's not people following a movement. It's people trying to get back to the roots of where we were, and all this imported bullshit and all these chemicals that we're using to substitute that people think are better for the environment, but don't realize they're drowning in them. It's wild, man. And yeah, sorry to interrupt and not to go down that rabbit hole, but that made me think of that image I saw.
I mean, that's something to add to a previous thing that you said, that you haven't had to use deodorant and everything like that. I'm certain, because you said that you have been eating much more organic and everything like that. I'm sure what you're taking in also contributes to, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Not having it.
Yeah, your body's not trying to excrete everything.
Yeah. I've also my problem is, you know, because I'm working on this diet thing. Eating healthy, it's fucking expensive,
dude. It's wild,
dude. It's insane. You know, you would think the more shit they need to add to the stuff to like make it more, you know, last longer shelf life. Well, you would think that would attribute to more cost. However, organic and just simply eating better.
I challenge people that are listening. Next time you buy something at the grocery store, even if it says organic on the packaging, flip that bitch over and see if it contains modified organisms in it, or
well, even pasteurization. That's not.
But the reason organic's more expensive is because it's less profitable, right? You're not growing a tomato 2 times the size of a natural tomato. You know, you're not producing pasta sauce. Yeah, you need 50% more tomatoes to develop a natural pasta sauce than you do a pasta sauce that's filled with a bunch of glucose and a bunch of other filler like gelatins in it. It's just not as. That's why it's cheaper.
Don't get caught up on the labels and the branding and the marketing of like, hey, this is organic. Because like you said, even if you see some organic, you can still flip it around on the back and it'll have 100 other chemicals in there. So
natural flavors, other natural flavors is my favorite scapegoat to read.
If I look on the back and it has anything in it that I can't pronounce, I don't know it.
It's not a natural chemical, right?
Yeah, I plugged this app last time I was on the episode, I think, or a couple times ago. But there's an app called Bobby Approved, and when I first started down this track, I would use that app, scan it, whatever I picked up in the food market, scan it, and it would tell me exactly why it wasn't approved, and it would highlight in red, and then eventually you just get used to seeing those things, right? But yeah, like, you know, it wasn't that long ago in America and across the world where you knew the farmer that your beef came from. You knew the butcher that was going to chop that beef up. You knew the farmer that your vegetables came from. You knew the baker that your bread came from. You know, you knew all this stuff. You knew where everything came from. And then once we started like decentralizing all of that, and it all became bigger, faster, cheaper, then that's when we started having all these problems. And like you said, it's crazy to me that you can add all this stuff, and for somehow or another, it'll be cheaper. Like I'll take a kid's, since it's a dad thing, we'll talk about like the little kids' apple juice or apple sauce little packets, right? You flip it around on the back and you'll see one that just says organic apples, nothing else. And that will
maybe
be
some $3.
Yeah, that one will be like $3. No, it won't even be no sugar, just organic apples on the back. Just apples, nothing else. And it'll be $3 for one of those little packets. And then you go right beside it, and it'll be just regular apples, and then it'll have 16 other ingredients, and it'll be $1. Mm-hmm. And I get it. It's part of its, shelf life and all of these things. But that's the crazy part. It wasn't that long ago that we were making shelf stable vegetables and fruits and all of those things and putting them in cans and putting them in our, putting them in our closets for freaking entire years.
The longer we
right?
can store this shit, the less waste. Whatever farm or place, whatever sort of vegetable may actually be in it came from, it's all profit driven.
So a lot of the stuff you're talking about is like people were canning stuff. Yeah. Now
canning's a lost art, man.
We're able to buy in excess. That's why it's turned into such a huge commodity, is because people just buy in excess. Well, I mean, if you're buying it, then you're creating a demand. So of course you're going to produce more and make it cheaper because it's just being sold at exponential level. So I mean, but like, man, I saw it, dude. It disturbed me. So I hear people that particularly live up north. They talk about how much the cost of eggs were.
Yeah.
Now a dozen eggs here will run you maybe $3 to $4, right?
Yeah, it's gone up, but it's not crazy. For the first time ever, I saw a dozen eggs because they were touting that they were cage free, brown. They're organic, I bet you.
And everything. They were fucking $11.48. Yeah. I was like,
the price of chicken skyrocketed because of the bird flu issue.
It was insane.
Well, people don't understand bird flu, but people were like, oh shit, I need to buy organic all of a sudden. So now you have a shortage of a supply on the organic side when everybody was buying grocery store brand chicken breasts. So that exacerbated the situation, right? And the price went up. It's wild, man. You can't, it like you said, dude, it is expensive. I try to buy as much as I can. I try to buy organic, right? But if a bunch of celery store brand that it's likely not organic is $1.50, and the same size bunch and weight of organic is like $8, like I'll buy the store celery, right? Some things have wild price swings like that on it, but I try to buy as organic as much as possible. But to feed the three of us, when I do that, I mean, I'm spending anywhere from $35 to $45 for a single meal for three people, and
all right.
We spend over $2,000 a month on food.
I just got my I get a reward point
for three people.
Yeah, I get a reward point for every $1 I spend at our grocery, and some of those are double points. And I looked at my rewards for last month or whatever. It was like $900 something for the three of us. And I mean, Emerson's 6, so he doesn't eat like a horse yet. He's getting there. But I was just like, holy shit! Like, groceries are wild. And my wife, like, I usually buy the groceries because we talked about this on another episode where we kind of have these weird backwards roles where I love to cook. So I cook most of our dinners that we have at the house. And so on the off night, like tonight, I had a work outing after work and she had to get stuff, and she'll text me and be like, holy shit, like grocery prices are insane. And I'm like, no shit. Because I'm the one normally getting it. So she didn't really see that price hitting the bottom line in our household. But it's wild, man. It is fucking wild what it costs to be healthy.
So serious question. Okay. For those of us that aren't really in a position to be able to spend that kind of money, what do you suggest? I mean, because obviously buying all organic.
Grow it, dude.
Grow it yourself.
Yeah.
You're in a good climate for it. It's a lot. It's work, dude, but it'll be a labor of love for you, man.
It's not the work, and I mean, we grow a lot of vegetables.
It is though. You don't realize it, but it'll wear on you.
Well, what I'm saying is like it for me.
But you grew that shit. You didn't spray a bunch of Roundup around what you're putting in your mouth, or whatever.
Right. I'd put it like this, right? Like, think about how, because as I'm entering my retirement age from the military, I only think about things as time, right? So how much time and how much time do I need to work in order to buy this thing? How much time do I have? Like, how much time am I exchanging for this? And so, like you just said, like, you can't afford it, but you're going to a job every day and you're exchanging your time for money so that you can buy food. So if you were to put that amount of time into producing your food, then you could work less to pay for your housing, if that makes any sense.
Well, theoretically, I like that approach.
Theoretically, that's not a bad way of looking at things. But we have a very stringent budget on groceries. I think at most we spend about $400 a month on groceries between my wife, my son, and I. Okay.
There's no way I could do 400, and we are spending over 400 per grocery trip.
Wait, James, what state are you in again? I forget.
I'm in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, we do one big shopping trip to Sam's Club and Walmart. And then, we might have to go hit up the dollar store or Brookshire Brothers, which is just a few minutes down the road, maybe once. And we're just going to grab a couple things. But I think, Sam's, we'll go and spend about $150. We'll get a big old pork loin, some stuff like that. But I currently, proactively work in a vegetable garden. Granted, I don't have any property here of my own to be able to do that. So I just go help chip in all the labor over at my folks' house because they grow a garden every year.
Yeah.
We do purple hull peas, tomatoes, everything like that. I mean, we have, organic vegetables, from time to time, but I'm just talking about like your everyday consumption. I'm not a big veggie dude, so we don't really go crazy on tomatoes because
if you rely, that's the problem. Are you talking about buying day to day or just the things like you commonly eat?
Just the things we commonly eat. We don't.
You got to can it, man.
We don't go out to eat. Yeah,
well,
we don't go out to eat.
I guess Texas, you can grow almost damn near year round, though, right?
So when you say you're spending $400 a month at the grocery store, how much are you spending at fast food restaurants and other sit down restaurants? And because like $400 a month, I don't even think that covers my lunches.
Well, so we buy in bulk. That's our biggest thing. So we'll buy a big old pork loin and cut it up, make pork, do pork chops. Once every 3 to 4 months, I'll have to spend maybe just a little bit more. I'll go and buy a big old 40-pound box of chicken titties from the meat market down the road. I'll buy a big old sirloin that, get some cuts from, and then I'll buy a pork loin, just do all that. And then we just vacuum seal everything.
You hunt too, though, right? So that supplements you a little bit.
Yeah. I have a crap ton of hamburger meat. I'm not going to have to buy hamburger meat for the rest of the year.
You hunt like fowl, like birds, or just deer?
Well, I haven't lately because you got to, have a certain kind of thing going, but I mainly deer hunt. I have hunted waterfowl.
Dude,
you got
to
stay up and do all that other stuff.
That's my goal, right? As I retire, is to start filling freezers full of hunted meat and get away from the food industry altogether, and then grow my vegetables, hunt my food, and my retirement check is going to be $9,000 a month, so I don't have to work at all.
What the fuck? I'm in the wrong damn industry.
What's your current MOS and rank?
I'm a 255 Alpha CW3.
I don't know what the fuck that means, but it sounds nice.
Damn it, boy.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
I'm happy for you getting your walking papers, man. That
retirement check won't be but like $4,400, $4,500, and then pension will be about $4,400, $4,500. VA. But $400 a month, that's only like $13 a meal for one meal a day. Like, that is crazy.
I can't do that math in my head.
But yeah, and to answer your question, you asked how much we would spend like on going out to eat. Maybe $20 here and there. We don't do it every month.
Damn, that's about $4.50 per serving per person for 3 meals a day.
Yeah. I mean, we genuinely keep a very tight budget.
That's not 3 meals a day. That's 1 meal a day for 3 people.
No, that's what I just divided. What do you say? 400
no.
divided by 3 people, divided by 30 days in the average month. Oh yeah, that's $4.50 a day per person.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 meal. And a lot of that is because we do buy in bulk, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we shop at Costco. Like almost everything we buy is at Costco because all the organic, like Costco has the best organic stuff out of any other store. Like, and they have grass, and you know, we'll buy like what's it? I think it's 3-6. I don't know how. Anyway, we'll buy like these big ass. I think they're a pound. I think it's a 3 pound thing of like grass fed, grass finished beef for like $18 at Costco, and everywhere else that's like $30 or something like that.
$6 a pound. Yeah. That's not bad at all.
Well, we my dad and I, we've talked about maybe going in halves on a calf, or a steer or something.
That's my next move.
I wish we could do that. We don't have the freezer capacity for that kind of.
I'm adding a big ass freezer. I'm adding a big ass freezer in my garage this summer, and then
make sure you have a generator is all.
Yeah, and then
you shit yourself. You lose $2,000 worth of beef in a power outage.
And I'm right here on the coast, so I'm planning on doing a lot of fishing after I retire and fill it up full of fish and I don't care. I care about the price, but I more care that I know where it's coming from.
Yeah. That's a scary part, man. I've been, like I said, I try to buy organic stuff, and I don't want to be that guy looking at every label, but I mean, organic, like we were talking about earlier, it's just a label now. It doesn't mean shit, and there's no. The FDA is no longer deciding who can or can't. Like the FDA used to dictate. There had to be a very strict set of approvals from the FDA to get that label on a product, and it wasn't. You couldn't call it organic sausages, right? It just had that organic stamp. But now anybody can just throw that term around like it's gospel, and unfortunately, a lot of people see it and they're like, "Oh, it must be organic."
And all the ingredients don't even have to be organic. Like you can look on something
that's why I said flip it over.
Yeah, look on something that says organic, flip it over, and it'll say organic this, organic that, and then it'll just have cane sugar. Like the cane sugar won't be organic, or
not even that, but flip it over, because the FDA did say now you have to declare if you have genetically modified organisms in your food. So when you look at ingredients, it'll have to say this product contains genetically modified organisms. And you will be, dude, your mind in the groceries will just explode when you flip a package over and you see how many products have that in there. And that's anything from growth hormones. I mean, there's so many things that can be considered a GMO that are put in foods that it's fucking wild, dude.
Yep. And look at how much cancer we have, how much autism we have, how much what's called SIDS, and freaking how many people have impotency, people not being able to have kids, and like much stuff, and it's all coming from our food and our sedentary lifestyles. I
was gonna say lifestyle and food are
look, probably we talk about the organic food and other thing like this, but all jokes aside, no, it's not. This is a joke. All I can imagine is RFK just screaming, "Red dot number 3."
Dude, if you want a model of how, look at Europe, dude. Europe has a lot of banned substances in their foods and a lot of products that will never hit the shelf because of the shit in it. But there's a reason every street corner does not have a 350 pound plus person walking down the street over in Europe.
Well, I wouldn't say it's because of lack of chemicals in their food, because they do have restrictions. Like
they do have some shit.
There's things that we have that they have outlawed, but like, my wife's from Germany, right? So we were there just past Christmas, and we were in a grocery store trying to buy like organic stuff for the week or whatever, and like we would pick something up, and my wife would turn it on the back, and she was like, I don't remember it being all these chemicals when I was here before, right? So they also have chemicals that that
They
are,
do.
you know,
I agree.
There are ones that 100% get banned, but there are a lot that get added in too. And then the same thing, like you just said, not having, 300-pound fat people. A lot of that has to do with Europe. Cities are built around, like Europe is like a whole bunch of just cities, and then there's nothing, right? Like it's not like us where everything's so spread out because our land, we have like just massive amounts of land. So like in Germany specifically, everything's inside of a city, so there's not a lot of drive-throughs. So if you don't have drive-throughs, that means you have to park in a parking house and walk somewhere to go get that fast food. And so if you have to do all that, most of the time you're not going to do it. And you're going to
you're like, fuck that. Right? It's not convenient anymore.
I mean, man, let me tell you, my just the town that I live in, there are so many freaking restaurants and fast food joints. Between fast food joints and convenience stores, we're overrun.
That's that lifestyle, though, man. People are so goddamn busy. We bought Emerson TV dinners, and just sometimes the necessity of life and the shit you got going on, you get home late from work or you're running late from fucking t-ball practice. You got to feed your kid, and sometimes that's the only option you have, and it's a double-edged sword, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It sucked balls, but
yeah,
what do you do?
Yeah,
but dude, find somebody you can trade with, man. Find somebody that loves that deer meat, that can't hunt, or whatever. Trading might be a good route for you. I've been trying to find for a while a local place to find a local farmer that supplies stuff, but unfortunately most of them around here you got to buy, like you said, like a half cow or a whole cow. Some places do quarter cow, but I mean we don't have the storage for right now. I don't know, but that doesn't help with your budget though, is the only thing, because those farmers know what their product's worth, and they're charging a premium for it. And I'd like to say unfortunately, but they got a life to live too.
Yeah.
I would. My argument is the two biggest expenses you have is food and housing. And if you figure out a way to get your housing paid off, and then you figure out a way to produce most of your food yourself, then you're living at that point to your time, right? Like you get to spend more time with your kids and etc.
What he's trying to say is you should get into real estate.
Yes.
Hey man, I'm trying to find me a nice little niche. My job offers tuition reimbursement, so they'll pay me to stay off of it. But now my job offers tuition reimbursement, so I've been considering going back to school for to start as an EMT, and then work towards getting my paramedic certification.
Don't you already volunteer? Oh,
and we lost him.
Come back.
Occasions.
We lost you. Aren't you already you're volunteer fire though, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm a volunteer firefighter. I'm not really required to have any state certificate, any certifications per se. However, if I was to, get my EMT, I could go work for one of these ambulance services around here. You get paid pretty decent money.
I mean, it's always good to better yourself and work on yourself and invest in yourself, so that if you upskill yourself, then you can make more money, but you're still exchanging your time for money, right? So just don't get lost on that rat race, because that's what I did for the last forever, and it's become a little bit overwhelming. But now, hopefully, in the next 12 months, things pay off, and I'm able to, right. And I don't plan on retiring. Like I'm still going to do real estate. I'm still going to do my investments. I'm going to get another job. But the difference is I get to be picky. And
I was going to say, James can be James how James wants to be, instead of somebody telling James how he has to be.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely upskill yourself, get the better high paying job, but then keep your same current living situation and use that extra money to start your own business or do whatever. Like I'm big on side hustles. I run 5 freaking businesses, for God's sakes, while I'm active duty. So, and I do all that because I didn't want to work for anybody else. And there's so many things that woodworking and like just so many different ways in the U.S. to make money that isn't working for somebody else.
Yeah, I love to do woodworking. It's just, just getting there, man. It's just spending the money to get started all over again.
Game plan.
I mean, I used to
get that game plan, get you a solid game plan, and vet it out. I mean, call one of your buddies up and say, "Hey, am I fucking crazy, or can I make this work?" It never hurts to get, just a pair of eyes to talk it through with.
And like I said, getting the EMT license is great because it'll give you more money to be able to, put into that side hustle, right? But the end goal should always be to free up as much time as possible.
Yeah. Well, I've been door dashing, and right now, pretty much any money that I'm making, I'm just using it to maintain fuel and the wear and tear on the vehicle. But outside of that, everything's going towards paying off debts. Trying to pay down on a credit card. I'm this close to paying my boat off. Get my cell phone paid off. As soon as we can get some of that stuff taken care of, then I can start putting more money towards principal on our new fucking 2024 van. Set me back a pretty good penny.
We just looked at. But I was talking to Jason about that Tundra, and he sent me the prices. I was like, "Fuck." And I reached out to my wife, and we're like, I mean, we can afford it, but is it worth affording it, right? Like,
I'm putting 40. I'm paying 45 plus 8.9% interest on
8.9% interest. Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, it's wild.
Yes.
It's wild. Perfect credit score right now is only pulling like 5% on a brand new vehicle.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have about 800, and when I bought a car, this last May in 2024, but it was I bought a 2022. Is it a 2022? Yeah, I think it's a 2022. It might have been a 2020. I don't remember what kind of car it is, but I bought a Volkswagen Atlas because it's got the third row in the back, and I think they gave me a 6.5%, and I literally was mad.
The fuck?
The last car I had bought before that was in 2019. I bought the last time my wife was pregnant. I bought her
pre-COVID.
I bought her a Mercedes AMG, like the SUV, and I had a 0.9% interest rate, like 0.9.
Yeah, nobody's offering 0% anymore.
Yeah,
if you find it, it's very rare, and it's on like a very defined set of vehicles.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well,
whatever's trash on their lot at the time.
Yeah. For the previous vehicle that we had, we were paying like 6.9% interest. And I mean, a lot of that was mainly at the time when we got it, we didn't really have enough TransUnion credit to for them to, give us a good interest rate on the loan for a vehicle. But that was pre-Biden. And, so now we're looking at 8.9% interest, and we're paying $850 a month on this van.
God.
And it's crazy to think how much of that is actually going to interest. It's insane.
What made you go with a 2024 versus getting a used one? Because
that was the problem. I had a used one, and you had it was one of them pre-owned certified vehicles and everything like that. The dealership that we were financing through, they screwed us over. We were having to jump through a lot of hoops to get our warranty honored and everything like that. The cylinder cracked on it. It was a 2018. The cylinder cracked on the, it was one of those Ford Edges. The cylinder cracked, and one of the requirements is that we had to specifically take it to that dealership and use that service department to maintain it for them to honor our warranty. Well, my wife is the one doing, it's her vehicle. She's taking it to have it serviced, she doesn't know what's what. Well, she's expecting the service department to tell her what needs to be done. Okay, well, we can do that. But then apparently they did not advise her at 100,000 miles that it was time to change the spark plugs. Well, because they didn't do that per the recommend, the maintenance schedule, they wouldn't honor the warranty.
Yeah.
So they were going to charge us like $12,000 to fix that son of a bitch.
That's
and
wild.
I've told
never
myself,
buy a fucking vehicle from them again.
Bro, you're paying.
Well, never buy a Ford.
You're paying. You said you're paying $850 a month on a $45,000 vehicle.
Rent
zero down.
My wife's Mercedes.
I paid $5,000.
My wife's AMG was it was a sticker price was $101,000. I bought it for $60,000 when it had 7,000 miles on it, and we're paying $575,000 or $575 a month. And I don't like paying $575 a month. And then for my Atlas, we paid $25,000 for that, and that's the one with 6%. But I'm paying like $300 a month for that. So total for two vehicles, I'm paying less than what you're paying for one vehicle.
Well, so check it out. So with that Ford Edge that we had, we got it in like 2019, 2020, something like that. And the price on it was, I want to say 32, 33, something like that. And with the 6.9% interest, we were paying just for that one vehicle, we were paying like $600 a month.
Crazy.
And we still, when the cylinder cracked on that Ford, we still owed $23,000 on it.
God damn.
Just putting the money in to fix it was going to pretty much total it. I mean, we were going to wind up having to pay more than what the actual price was whenever we financed it. I said, man, fuck that piece of shit. So we,
you scrap it.
Man, yeah, we got rid of it. Fuck that.
That's wild.
And then before it was going to slap our credit, we went and financed the Chrysler, and we've always paid on time with Ford and everything like that. But we went and got this Chrysler Pacifica. It had 14 miles on it. And I was like, man, I'm all right with working a little harder than I normally would to make sure my wife and my son can get around without me having to worry about them breaking down.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
That's my biggest thing.
I probably put like $12,000-$13,000 into maintenance on the Mercedes last year, but it's paid off now. So that I'm not getting, and now it's become my car. My wife is driving the Atlas as her mom car. So I don't know if driving around in the AMG is probably the best thing for a freaking realtor with all the miles we put, but it's been okay.
I won't after my wife's fiasco with her Mazda, I won't buy a Mazda. I won't buy a Ford because Mazda is basically a fucking Ford in disguise.
Yep. I want a Ford Lightning.
No, you don't.
Dude, no symptoms whatsoever. Granted, this bitch I think she had about 210,000 on it, but we did all the regular maintenance. We babied the shit out of that thing. And out of nowhere, she's driving to work about 15 miles away, and the bitch just stalled out on the highway. She pulls it over, gets it home. I get it in the driveway, and of course I got to see what the fuck it's doing. So I try to fire it up. There's all kinds of clanking and banging. I drain the oil. I get the milkshake, and I'm like, oh my fucking God. The coolant, the water pump failed. And what it does over time is it's supposed to weep out of the tiniest little pinhole when that seal starts to fail between the block where that coolant can get to the engine oil and the pump itself. When that fails, it's supposed to weep out a little tiny hole. Well, 200,000 mile engine, that little weep hole's filled with oil and road grime and all kinds of shit, right? So we never saw it weep. She never lost a drop of coolant that we could see in normal, change intervals for the oil and stuff. And so I drained it. I tried to put some clean oil in it, and I could just hear it going straight down to the fucking pan. And basically, when that seal failed, it sheared off the impeller and basically grenaded the fucking engine. And I spent the next 2 weeks tearing everything I could out of that engine and rebuilding it, and we got rid of it. And but that's the scary part, man. You're right. You buy this expensive ass thing, and when your warranty, because I'm a used car guy, I'm all about buying a car that's, in the 75 to 100,000 mile range already on it. because in reality, most of the stupid shit that's going to happen should happen under warranty. But it's a gamble, man, and cars are getting more and more expensive. And like you said, you end up with the shitty end of the stick when you owe $20,000 and, dealership doesn't want to cover it. There's no sort of law that covers your ass on it.
Well, see, the fucked up thing is like the issue that I was looking at wasn't even really hard to find. So I just Googled the symptoms and everything like that.
You gotta research.
And apparently, and see, the fucked up thing is at the rate that the cylinders were cracking, it was turning to be out more what appeared to be like would qualify as a manufacturer defect.
Right.
However, they wouldn't recognize it as such. Not. And because she missed that because the service department didn't say, okay, this is what we need to do at 100,000 miles. And we were at 106,000. We literally just had it serviced about a month prior to the bullshit. And they said, well, the warranty company's not going to cover it because you didn't have the spark plugs changed at 100,000 miles.
Dude, so when I bought my Durango, it came with a 30,000 mile 3-month warranty, used obviously. And just before I hit that mark on the 30,000 miles, I started hearing the typical Durango tick, right? I take it, I called them and I said, hey, I need to make an appointment. And this is through a non-Dodge dealership that I bought it through. And they were like, yeah, bring it in. But we can't see you it was like 3 fucking weeks, man. And so I take it to him, and the morning I drop it off, he's like, well, this isn't I think it was a Hendrick. They do like Chevy, GMC. And so they were like, why are you dropping this off? And I was like, well, I have your used car warranty. And they were like, well, you're under the mileage, but you're over your warranty period by a day. And I said, hold the fuck up. I called you and told you I had an issue, needed the earliest appointment, and 3 weeks out is what you gave me. And they were like, well, that's what we have. And so they fought tooth and nail. And then my only saving grace was that those fuckers, when I went to pay it and walk out, they still had it in the shop because they were fixing. There was something wrong with the auto fill system flap on the gas fill.
Right.
And so I had to go back through text messages that I had with the guy that sold me the car, where I said, hey, what time am I picking it up today? And I had documentation where he said, hey, it's not going to be ready till tomorrow. And that text message was my only saving grace that saved me like $2,500 in repairs.
Yeah.
Because I could go to the dealership and say, I did not leave your dealership with this car until this date. And that just barely squeaked me by. But the whole fact that I made the appointment 3 weeks ago and told them I had an issue 3 months ago, if I was ready to go in there and start flipping desks, man.
My one financial advice is luxury vehicles. And what I've learned when you buy luxury vehicles or any vehicle is you don't buy like the bottom class of that brand vehicle, because, example, if you buy a Mercedes and you buy a C-class Mercedes, then you're probably going to have problems with that Mercedes throughout the life of the Mercedes. Versus if you buy an AMG, you're really not going to have that many problems. But when you do, it's going to be stupid expensive. And then, so, my first luxury vehicle, I was a young ass E4, E5 in the Army, and I bought a Cadillac Escalade, right? And I bought it cash money, and I paid it off. Well, then I got orders to go to Germany, and I took it over with me to Germany, and I was in Germany for like 6 or 7 years. Well, because I shipped it overseas, it voided my warranty.
Fuck me.
And so all maintenance that I had to do, everything I had to do on that Cadillac, and thank God there was never anything crazy. And I drove that thing for 250,000 miles or something like that. Like I put a crap ton of miles on. I kept it for like 13 or 14 years, and so I eventually sold it, and then we bought my wife. My wife had like a little 3 Series BMW, and it wasn't like a top line. It was like the 328i. So it's like, it wasn't the 335. It wasn't the like higher versions of the BMW.
Base motor.
Yep, base model, base motor, 328i, and we had so many problems with that bitch at 40, 50,000, 60,000 miles, we were having problems, 70,000 miles having problems. And I was always keeping it dealer maintained and dealer, taking it to the dealership to fix the problems and doing all this stuff. And then we get to Augusta, Georgia, and I took it in for an oil change. Oil change is like a service, right? So they're charging you like $300, $400, $500, whatever it is, because they're doing like so much other stuff to it, right? Which they're really,
your 125 safety point inspection.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I caught them not changing my oil filter because I had taken a black marker and put my name on the oil filter. And they didn't change my oil filter out. So then I got like a year's worth of free maintenance or something stupid like that. But from that point on, I was like, I'm never going to use a dealership or rely on a dealership or care about maintenance or care about warranties or anything. So when I bought this Atlas, I didn't buy it from a dealership. I bought it I bought it from a car dealership, but it wasn't like the Volkswagen dealership. It was like one of these shady backwoods, country car dealerships. I did my research on the car, the engine, the problems that car has. I bought the SEL, the top line version, the SEL R line or whatever, and it only had 55,000 miles when I bought it, and I bought it for $23,000 or $24,000. And if something goes wrong on it in the next 2 or 3 years, then I'll just have to pay that, right? But I don't know. That's just been my kind of mantra when it comes to cars. It's like I'm not going to pay extra for that, for the hope that the dealership is going to have my back when I need it.
I've heard of so many warranty claims being declined, and because of stupid shit like that. It's wild, man.
Yeah.
For any viewers watching from good old Palestine, Texas, do not deal with All-Star Ford. Talk to Jason, the car guy.
Being the car guy.
Get a Yoda. Get a Yoda.
All right. Well, this has been interesting. We've gone from food to shit motor vehicles in the same episode. But anyway, that was a fun time. I enjoyed that episode, actually. Not gonna lie. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. James, thanks for making it back. I know you got a lot of shit going on, man, but you do you, and you pop in when you can. We appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Yeah, man. Check us out on the Facebook group. Holler at us, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. See ya.